Welcome back to Mad Marketing's YouTube channel. Today we are going to go over some brand archetypes. I'm going to say archetypes for the rest of the video because that's how I prefer to say it. If you say archetypes or archetypes, however you say it, go ahead, be my guest. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. And so we're going to talk about 12 different archetypes here for your brand. The hero, the ruler, the outlaw, the explorer, the magician, the creator, jester, lover, the innocent, the everyman, and the sage. So this video is probably going to be a bit long. Skip ahead however you want to do it. I just hope that you get the information that you need to help you build a better, more successful, and more engaging brand for your clients and customers. So the hero is an archetype that believes in making a mark in the world through their mastery. So they need to be the very best at something. Even if it's just one thing, they need to achieve a level of mastery that they are world renowned for. So with this skill, the hero can make the world a better place. You can look at brands like Nike, brands like Gatorade, who use this archetype, because their products, their niche is set in an industry or a field or something along those lines, or a professional place where their products are used to help people achieve a certain level of mastery. So Nike, Just Do It, they're all about the athlete and the athlete's performance. Their brand speaks to enhanced performance, as well as the need to continue to improve one's own ability, right? To be the best at what it is you're doing. This is why they have basketball shoes, running shoes, tennis shoes, shoes specifically made for a specific sport to help you perform better and not worry about what kind of gear you're wearing during the time of performance. When it's time to put everything that you practice for into action, you can't be thinking about, oh, are my shoes good for this game? Your shoes are good for this game. And the reason we make our shoes this way is because we know how much you train for this, we know how hard you work for this, and we're only going to put products on your feet that are going to help you crush your goals and reach that next level of status, that next level of skill that you have been practicing for. So that's the hero archetype. Are you inspiring your customers to go for more? Are you inspiring them to grow past where they currently are? There is never a complacency within this kind of brand. You need to reach mastery, and even when you're there, you continue to push yourself. This is the hero archetype. Next, we're going to take a look at the ruler. The ruler takes charge and is seen as an authoritative figure, right? So Mercedes-Benz and other luxury cars like Lexus do a good job showing that rewarding one with nice things is well worth it. And so this kind of takes a play on when you are a ruler and you're an authority figure, right? That puts you at a higher level on the totem pole. When you're on a higher level of the totem pole, you essentially, according to the ruler archetype, you need certain external toys to showcase your status, right? So internally, you can be a leader. If you are truly a leader, we all know that this is an internal thing. But for the ruler archetype, you need external material to showcase that authority, to showcase like, I worked for this, I work hard, I did this, I do that, so I have this. And so it's kind of like a status ploy here for the ruler. Next is the outlaw. This archetype believes in taking risks and freedom for all. The outlaw is very liberating and rebellious while living on the wild side. When we think of the outlaw, you think of brands like Harley Davidson. You might even think of that new ad that's been circulating during the time of making this video for the Ford Raptor, the pickup truck. Beautiful truck. If you haven't seen it, any of those ads, I'll actually link to videos below. Peter McKinnon, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or his work. He even remixed the ad for fun for himself. And if I find that link, I'll also include that in the description. So this is the outlaw. You're not playing by the rules, and you're not following anybody else's rules. The rules that you play by are the ones you create, and chances are you aren't creating any. You're just very wild and free, and you're very daring. You're out there. All right, and so now we're going to look at the explorer. So the explorer is free and adventurous. Brands like Jeep use this archetype to show that their products can help you get out and explore all the world has to offer. So the Ford Raptor can also kind of fall into this, but because of the choice of name that they gave and the type of the sound, like, they're more in a daring, rebellious kind of place. The Jeep is a little softer when you think of the Wrangler. It's a little softer than Raptor, right? However, they're still all about off-road, going where other cars cannot go. And that's going to showcase that you're having fun out there. You're free, you're adventurous, and it's similar to the outlaw, just less daring, while still doing what it is they want to do. Now the magician. This archetype is powerful and magical. You think Disney, you think Coca-Cola, they do a great job using this archetype. It's filled with endless possibilities if you just believe. So what comes to my mind when I think of the magician archetype, especially when I think of Coca-Cola as falling within this archetype, you see these ads where during the winter, there's a polar bear drinking Coke, right? And so that's magical. There's a polar bear drinking a can of Coke. That is magic. And then there's other, in the season type ads, maybe closer to the summer, the spring, a guy and a girl at a pool. And somehow they pick up the Coke bottles, right, with the perfect matching names on them, and then they get along and share Coke, right? So this girl meets the guy, and they're able to share Coke, and what they're able to share within that moment is the joy and coincidence that the Coke actually has their names on it, right? And so that's magical as well. It creates a moment for two people to come together. The creator. This archetype believes in innovation by motivation. A brand that falls into this archetype category is Apple. They use this archetype to show their customers that they can turn their dreams into reality with their creative products. And so you will notice a lot of the ads that Apple come out with are very, very interesting. There's one where there's people marching down to the water with their, I think it's the Apple Watch, right? And I'm guessing that, and there's people jogging, they're on the beach, and they're chanting. And so what this message is conveying here, and Again, for those of you who haven't seen that ad, I'll grab the link from YouTube. I'll include it in the description because you're going to want to see this ad to, and then rewatch this video, this part explaining what they're conveying, right? The Apple Watch allows that freedom, right? So because Apple was so innovative with the watch, allowing you to text from your watch, allowing you to play music from your watch to your AirPods, you now have that freedom to move forward, to move to different places. So it's like you have everything you need in a very conveniently packaged wristwatch, and so now you can move forward with the other things that you need to do, right? And so the innovation of this, or let's even backtrack a little bit, the motivation behind the people's will to do certain things and reach certain goals is pushing Apple forward to innovate their products in a way that meet the needs of their customers based on their lives and how crazy they want to live it and how hard they want to push themselves. A plus. The Jester. The Jester delivers pleasure through humor. They entertain by connecting with others. And when you are a brand who is going to use humor, what you're doing is attacking the chemical in the viewer's brain, oxytocin, right? You want them to laugh. When you get someone to laugh, you're causing the brain to have a chemical reaction where it's going to start to release oxytocin. When the brain releases oxytocin, this person tends to open up more. They feel more comfortable around you because they're associating your brand with good feelings, and those good feelings work all the way down to a chemical level where it's oxytocin going off in your brain. And so you can think of companies like Old Spice, where the guy's like riding a horse backwards. That's funny, right? And then you can think of companies like Skittles, where this kid has like Skittles as pimples, and the girl like takes one from his face and eats it, and then like her face is also covered in Skittle pimples as well, and hilarious, right? So when people watch that, they laugh, and so when someone's laughing, that's because oxytocin is being released in the brain, and now they're associating your brand with good feelings, so they feel good about you. Now we have the Lover. The Lover connects with others through intimacy and romance. So this, I can't tell you for sure which chemical in the brain intimacy and romance releases. However, it's a very fantasy. It's very fantasized. And that's what people want. You take their kind of mind on an emotional roller coaster where they're able to kind of live in this fantasy world, and usually a fantasy world is a good one, right? And so you'll see this often in beauty brands and fragrances, like Estee Lauder. These are the kind of companies that use the Lover archetype. The Lover archetype is usually used in beauty brands because the Lover archetype is usually better suited when you are targeting a predominantly woman or female audiences. Women want to feel like they're in a love story. They don't want to know what's going to happen next. So it's part of that mystery that keeps them along for the ride. For any of you out there that don't like the analogy that I use, don't watch my videos. For those of you who enjoy it and are getting information from it, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad that you're going to be learning things that's going to help you grow your business and build your brand. So now we move on to the Innocent Brand Archetype. This archetype is safe and pure, using charm and optimism. The innocent can deliver service and products that are basically pleasurable to all. It's very simple. And when you think of this brand archetype, you want to think of a dog, right? Who are dogs? Dogs are these friendly creatures that mean no harm. Everyone wants to pet them. They make people feel good. And usually, if you're not a barking dog, then everyone's just going to like you that much more. And so there's no doubt of who you are, what you're doing. Your business is very transparent, very upfront, very honest, very loyal, and this is communicated across in your brand messaging. All right, and so now we move down to the Everyman archetype, and this is kind of your average Joe archetype. They want everyone to feel like they belong, and Amazon uses this archetype to bring people together with value and love. And the Everyman, basically, is you don't have that one specific person, that one niche that you're going after. And so it's a little difficult to use this brand archetype because it really has a lot to do with what you're offering, what your products are, what your services are, because you can't use the Everyman archetype if you're selling only women's beauty supply, right? This does not really resonate with that type of audience. Sure, you can have value there, you can have love, but it's not necessarily the Everyman structure. You might be better off by using the lover or even the magician. You might even be better off using the ruler for a brand like that, right? And so when you think of Amazon and their messaging, with the Alexa ads, it's very funny. It's never, you'll notice if you look through their ads, there's never a specific type of person, right? It's never just a white man or white woman only. It's never just a black man or black woman only. In all their ads, they really mix up the demographics of the actors and actresses in their ads because they're making it clear that they're not targeting one specific type of ethnicity or any specific type of a demographic, right? And so let's move on now to the caregiver. The caregiver believes in kindness and helping others. The archetype offers a nurturing service. You can think UNICEF and other nonprofit organizations. They tend to use the caregiver archetype to deliver a service with a smile, right? And this is pretty much said right in the title, but the whole archetype of these kinds of organizations, right, is to give, is to provide care to those in need, to those who are less fortunate or those who are unable to care properly for themselves. And there's nothing wrong with this kind of archetype. I don't think it's going to be applicable to most businesses. However, you can have a little bit of the caregiver within your business. If you think Toms, for example, right? The original creators of BOGO, the buy one, get one. You buy a pair of Toms and then a pair of Toms is donated to someone else in need. So that's a way where you can have a little bit of the caregiver in your archetype. So it's doesn't have to be strictly for nonprofit organizations making fundraisers and donating and soup kitchens and things like that. It's not strictly there. There's also possibility for you to do it. I even saw there was this one towel company, right? I don't remember the name, but it was this towel company who made towels or blankets, I believe, out of recycled goods or recycled plastic or recycled yarn, whatever it was. And then not only did they focus on creating product off of recyclables, but they also donated some of the proceeds from their sales to help clean the ocean, right? This is a Caregiver. This company has a very high awareness for social responsibility. Moving on to our last brand archetype, the Sage. The Sage is full of knowledge and satisfaction. BBC is a great example of a brand that accurately uses the Sage archetype. They believe in passing along their guidance and understanding. And so when you think of Sage, you're thinking of this wise old man. That's what comes to my mind. And he finds joy in himself to pass along his guidance through the years that he's lived, the wisdom that he's earned. And he wants others to understand this so that they can create better, more fulfilling lives for themselves. And so this is the Sage. You'd actually see you see a little bit of the Sage in a lot of influencers. And I'm not saying any kind of influencers. You'll usually see this in the marketing world, where marketers are creating content that teaches other marketers or other business owners how to do certain things, how to build Facebook audiences. If I can create a video on that, and if I were to create a video on that, that would be a little bit of sageness coming from me, because I want to show you how to create proper Facebook audiences to create better ROAS for yourself and for your company. And so since I already made the mistakes, I already took the time to learn all of this, now I'm ready to pass that learning, that guidance and understanding onto you, so that you can avoid all the mistakes that you're inevitably going to make trying to get to where I am. And so this is the Sage brand archetype. If you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I'll be releasing once a week for now a video on business, on marketing, and I will soon be launching videos on leadership. It's come to my attention that a lot of people aren't too familiar with what it takes to be a leader, and a lot of people confuse the lines between a boss and a leader. And being a leader has a lot to do with understanding the tenderness within all masculine roles and masculine energy. And so it's a little bit of a shift. However, especially in the business world, you need to understand your masculinity. I'll be creating some videos based on that here for YouTube. However, those leadership videos will be released predominantly through my Patreon channel. Right now it's $7 a month, and I'll be posting all that content there. So if you're interested in subscribing there as well, I'll leave the link in the description below. Again, love doing this, love helping you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.